Okay, so we are on to round number 1 of our new mandala, and I'm going to be using, it's a local yarn called Family Knit. It's part of the L yarn range. It's just a very ordinary DK, and it's acrylic double knit. It's a economical yarn, economy yarn, so it's super cheap. But it's readily available at my local yarn shop, which means that if I run out of a color, I'm not going to have a problem getting another color. So I'm going to be using a DK weight yarn throughout. So if you're using cotton, then obviously also go for a DK weight cotton. So I think that's about it. Again, this is a stash buster because I have a lot of this. I have stacks of it, which I haven't even used. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm using a 4mm hook, 4mm hook. There we go. Right. So we're going to start with a magic ring, which I think it's probably my go-to start. It's going to start with magic ring, and then we're going to be working double crochets into our magic ring. All right, so we're going to be working 16 double crochets into our magic ring, and we're going to count that first chain 3 as our first double crochet. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that, working double crochets into your magic ring, and then I shall see you when we have 16 double crochets. Oh, the color is olive green. See you there. Okay, and then you can close off with a slip stitch into your second double crochet, or you can just work an invisible join. Okay, so I'm just going to close it off like that. And then work in your ends. So you're just going to pull that tight. You leave a little hole in the center like that, and then work in your ends. So highly recommended, work in your ends after every round. You'll thank me later. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 2. Okay, so we are on to round 2, and our next color is duck egg. So I'm not so sure if my camera is picking up the correct colors, but we're just going to carry on. So duck egg. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to work a double crochet front post over 2 of our previous double crochets, but we're not working in the front of the stitches, we're working sort of behind the stitch. So we're working a chain 3 front post like that. Then we're going to chain 3, and I'm just going to move that little tail to the back. Right, yarn over, and you're working it at the back like that. Chain 3, yarn over, grab 2, and if it does accidentally go over those 2, so you're just kind of grabbing, just pulling that to the front like that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I think you get the drift. 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Right, so you're just going to carry on like that and then slip stitch into the top of your, you can just slip stitch around the chain 3, and then that is round number 2, so you should have 8 double crochets and 8 chain 3s, or double crochet from front posts, sort of front posts, and 8 chain 3s. All right, and I shall see you at the end of round number 2 and the beginning of round number 3. So we are onto round number 3, and round number 3 the color I'm using is gold, and I'm actually using the Stylecraft Special DK Gold, which is very similar to the other acrylic that I'm using. Okay, and it's easy to match up the colors. The Stylecraft Special DK and the color Shepherd's Color Crafter have the same color code numbers, so they're quite easy to match up, and the colors are very similar to my local yarn, this very sort of economy yarn, which is the L Family Knit. Okay, so I'm going to just mix and match them. This is a Stash Buster project, and I've a stack of stash. Okay, so now we work 4 half double crochets into our chain 3 space from the previous round, chain 2, and 4 half double crochets. So working 4 half double crochets in the gold into our chain 3 space, chain 2, and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and repeat. So you're just going to go all the way around like that. Right, so I shall see you at the end of this round and the beginning of our next round. So after I worked my last chain 2, whoops, you're just going to pull your yarn tail through your last loop, and then you can just work an invisible join. Okay, and then fasten in your ends. Or should I say fasten off? Fasten off and then work in your ends. Fasten in your ends. Well, you can also do that. So, right. Okay, so you're just going to work in your ends, and then I shall see you at round number 4. Okay, so we are on to round number 4, and the color that I'm using is tomato. Tomato. And I just thought I'd give you a little preview of what we're going to be doing. So now, maybe I should just frog this quickly, and then I can show you right from the beginning, because it's a little bit complicated. Well, just complicated enough to keep the pattern interesting. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to be working into the space after we've skipped 2 half double crochets. So we're going to skip 2 half double crochets and work into the next space. And we're going to chain 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to work 2 double crochets together, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to slip stitch back into that space, chain 3. yarn over. So we're working all of this into that little space there. 2 double crochets together, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch back into the space. We've created a little heart there, sort of, right? Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a single crochet front post. Going to work a single crochet front post around our front post stitch from round number 2, right? Then we're going to chain, I'm losing my voice. Then we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip 2 half double crochets, and we're going to slip stitch into the next space, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Right. We're going to slip stitch back, 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochets together. Remember, we're working those 2 double crochets together, 1, 2, 3, chains, slip stitch back into the space, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet front post, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. It's a bit like a dance. Okay, so you're just going to go around like that, and you should have 8 times 2 of all of that. So in the pattern I'll write this as a set: chain 3, 2 double crochets together, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochets together, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, 1 single crochet front post, chain 3, and repeat. You're just going to go all the way around like that, and I shall see you at the end of this round, which is round number 4, and we can just fasten off together. Okay, so I've made my last chain 3. We're just going to oh my goodness. Okay, so, and then to finish off, you're just going to work kind of into the bottom of your attaching stitch, like so, right? And then what I normally do is just make a little knot, a little double knot, like that, fasten off, and then you can go and work in your tails. Okay, so round number 4, done and dusted. I'm going to work in my tails, and I shall see you at round number 5. So I think your stitch count, I did say you'll have 16 chain 3s, and you'll have 8 single crochet front posts, and you'll have 8 sets of 1 chain 3, 2 double crochets together, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochets together, slip stitch. You'll have 8 of those sections. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 5. Okay, so we are on to round number 5. Round number 5 is a nice easy peasy round. The color that I'm using is antique brown. So I would say this is the color from my local yarn, the L Yarn Family Knit. The color is antique, but it's very similar to the Stylecraft, is it walnut? One of the nutty colors. So what I may do in the pattern is maybe just try and match up the colors that I'm using for the family knit, try and match them to the Stylecraft Special DK. You know, if you're going to be using colors from Stylecraft, because obviously these yarns are South African yarns, and I know that the company has started importing some of its range to Australia and New Zealand, probably because half of South Africa lives there. So, but for the rest, I don't, you don't find this yarn elsewhere, but it's just a very common acrylic, DK acrylic, and you could very easily match it up. If you have an acrylic range in your country, a DK acrylic, you're probably going to find the same colors, because acrylic is very easy to dye. So and the colors are pretty standard. Okay, so I wasn't joking when I said this mandala is called rustica. Did I tell you it's called rustica? Because the colors even themselves are very sort of have rustic names. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is going to be working into our chain space from round number, what was that round? Round number 3? I can't remember the rounds anymore. Terrible. Round number 1, 2, 3. Yes, round number 3. I mean, we're only into the pattern for 4 rounds and I'm already going, what round is that? Okie dokie, so we're working into our chain space from round number 3 and we're going to make a loop. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not counting that starting, that attaching stitch. So we're going to have chain 5 and then slip stitch back into our chain space from our previous round, round number 3. Then chain 3, slip stitch into our next chain space from round number 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch back into the chain space and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into our next chain space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch back into the same chain space, chain 3, and so on. So you can see it's super duper easy. So I have to tell you, I'm thoroughly enjoying just making these smaller projects. So you're going to be sick of me by the time I finish making the 6 mandalas. But I'm actually going to be giving them away as Christmas presents. So I know that the partners of my sons don't watch these videos, so I can say I'm going to be giving them away as Christmas wall hanging decorations. Maybe I might love them all and then not be able to part with them, and then I'll hang them all over my workroom or wherever. Okay, so your round number 5 is going to look like that. Right, so when you're finished, you're just going to work your last chain 3, and then you just pull your yarn through and then just pop it, just work it with your needle through that attaching stitch and fasten off and work in your ends. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 6. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 6, and the color that I'm using is the Stylecraft Special DK, and color is vintage peach. That's right, vintage peach. So now what we're going to do is we're going to begin with a single crochet into any of our chain 3 spaces from the previous round. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. Then we're going to work 2 double crochet into our next chain 5. We're going to work 2 half double crochets, and we're going to work a single crochet. We're going to chain 2 and then work a single crochet, 2 half double crochets and 2 double crochets. Okay, and then we're going to single crochet into our next chain 3 and then repeat. So we're working 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, 2 half double crochets and 2 double crochets, and single crochet into our next chain 3. So what you're going to have are those bunny ears, all right, or kitty ears. And now you're just going to make 8 of those, so you'll have 8 sections of 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, and so you'll have 8 of those sets, and then you'll have 8 single crochets. And then to finish off, you'll just slip stitch into your beginning stitch and fasten off. And that is easy peasy round number 6, and again the color is vintage peach. So I shall see you at round number 7. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 7. In round number 7 we are going to be doing that. Okay, so I think what I'll do is just start from the beginning. So I do always like to let you have a little peep. I think it helps. All right, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working sort of on the wrong side of our work, and we're going to work into that little space over there, okay, sort of under the arch of our previous round. So we're working into that chain space. Okay, and I'm going to start with a single crochet, and then I'm going to do a yarn over times 3 puff. So I always do a yarn over times 3 little mini puffs, but if you've done my patterns before, then you know this, and you know it's my favorite stitch. Right, now so we're on to round number 7, just in case I didn't say that. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Now feel free to chain a little bit more if you feel. I'm chaining 4. Okay, so I've chained 5, but if you're using cotton, for example, then it's going to, it might be a little bit tight. You don't want your work kind of pulling in like that. Yarn over, so anything between 4 and 6 chains. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my very noisy neighbors on the other side of me are having an argument. I could write a book about the things I hear. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've just closed my window, which was just open a little bit, to let some fresh air come in. And well, if you've done any of my patterns before, you'll know that I live in the noisiest neighborhood ever. Okay, so as I was saying, so the color I'm using is duck egg, and this is our, the local yarn, my local yarn, well, not my yarn, the L yarn family knit. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. You're going to have those little pops of color, like so. All right, so you're just going to carry on like that. So you should have 8 puffs, yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close puffs, and then I think chain 5. So anything between a chain 4 and a chain 6 behind there. But I've gone for a chain 5, which works for me. All right, so it's going to look like that. So that is round number 7, and I shall see you at round number 8. And then to close this round, you just slip stitch into the top into that little hole in the top of your puff and fasten off and work in your ends. Okay, so we are on to round number 8, and the color that I'm using is soft lime. So that's pretty easy to match up. This is the local yarn, the L yarn family knit, but you can pretty much match it up. It's quite similar to other colors that have the same name, so lime. All right, so now we are going to begin in our chain space from round number 5, so between the puffs, okay? And you can start with a standing double crochet. I'm just going to work a chain 3, which is equal to 1 double crochet, and then we're going to work another 3 double crochets. So the pattern is 4 double crochets, right? Now we're going to work a treble front post over that single crochet that we made in round number 6. Yarn over, and now we're working back into that same chain space, and we're going to work another 4 double crochets. 3 and 4. Right, then we're going to just skip over our puff and work. So basically we're just going to repeat everything that we did. As you can see, I'm working over my tail. 3, 4 double crochets, yarn over twice, and treble front post over the single crochet, and 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Skip over your puff and continue. So I don't really need to carry on because I think you've got the gist. Okay, so it's going to look like that. You're just going to carry on all the way around. You're going to end up with 8 treble front posts and 64 double crochets. Okay, so I shall see you at the end of this round, which is round number 8, and the beginning of round number 9. And then of course to finish off, you can just slip stitch into your second double crochet, or you can fasten off with an invisible join. Okay, so see you at round number 9. Okie, so we are on to round number 9, and round number 9 we're going to continue with the same color, which is our soft lime. And you can actually begin wherever you want, but I'm going to begin just after a treble front post, and we're going to be working single crochet back posts. All right, so you'll work single crochet back post around your 8 double crochets from our previous round, like that. Okay, 6, 7, 8. Right, then you're going to chain 1, skip your treble front post, and work 8 single crochet back posts again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 1 and skip your next treble front post and continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I'll get that right eventually. 7 and 8. Okay, chain 1 and continue. Right, so you're going to have that going on. Right, so that is round number 9. Color is soft lime. So you're going to go all the way around, and then you'll just slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet front post, back post, not front post, back post, and fasten off. Okay, don't forget to do your chain 1 before you do that. Okay, and I shall see you at round number 10. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 10, and round number 10 I'm going back to my Stylecraft Special DK and the color that I'm using is buttermilk. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to work double crochets into our previous single crochet back posts. So our marker is the chain 1, so we have the chain 1 space there, and we're going to work into the very first double crochet. So I've just started with a chain 3, which is equal to 1 double crochet, but you can use a standing double crochet, and then we're just going to work into 8 single crochet back posts. So we should have 8 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Then we're going to skip over our loop, our little chain 1 space, and we're going to go, so we're not going to do a chain 1 or anything like that. We're just going to skip that chain 1 space, and then we're going to be working 8 double crochets. So you were working into the stitch, not between the stitches. Right? Okay, so your stitch count for this round should be 64 double crochets. Okay, and you're just going to go round and around. Well, not round and around, you're just going to go round one time round. All right, okay, so nice and simple, right? So you're just going to go all the way around, and then you can slip stitch into your second double crochet, or you can do an invisible join, and I shall see you at the end of round number 10. We are on to round number 11, and the color that I'm using is the duck egg, and we're going to be working into that chain 1 space that we made way back in round number 8. So this is an independent round, so I don't want to make you cry all the tails, but we're going to be working 3 double crochets together like that, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, like that, yarn over and into that same chain 1 space, 3 double crochets together. Okay, and then you just pull through like that. All right, so now you don't need to work in your tails, because we can do a few more rounds and then you'll have a little bit more meat to work in your tails. Okay, so you can just leave them there if they don't get in the way. All right, so that is round number 11, and I shall see you at round number 12. Okay, so we are on to round number 12. Round number 12, I'm going to be using our olive green. Right, now everything's looking a little bit like a dog's breakfast. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work into the space behind our previous 2 times 3 double crochets together into that space. Okay, so we didn't really do a chain 1 there, just kind of a natural space because we've squeezed this in here. So between our sets of 8 double crochets from round number 10. Now what you're going to do is so we're going to work, you can work either a standing double crochet or a chain 3. Then we're going to chain 2, yarn over, and work a double crochet. So we have a double crochet V, it has a chain 2 in between. Now we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and feel free to do another one, another chain, if you feel things are pulling too tight. Now we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets from round number 10, and we're going to pull our chain 2 loop to the back like that, and we're just going to work a single crochet over that chain 2. Then we're going to chain 4 or chain 5 if you like, yarn over, skip 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets into the next space. We work double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Right, now we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and the same as we did before, we're going to skip 4 double crochets. We're just going to grab our little chain 2 loop to the back, going to make a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, skip 4 double crochets, add another double crochet V with a chain 2 space between our double crochets. Okay, so it's going to look like that. So as I said, at the moment it's going to look a little bit like a dog's breakfast, but it's all going to fall into place. Okay, so that is round number 12. So you're going to have 8 times double crochet V's with a chain 2 in between. You'll have 16 chain 4s and 8 single crochets. Okay, so I shall see you at the end of this round and the beginning of round number 13. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 13 and the colour is buttermilk, so we're back to our buttermilk. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find a section where we have our 8 double crochets. So let's just find it, there we go, nice and clear. And we are going to work a double crochet, so if you can work a standing double crochet then do so, otherwise start with a chain 3, which is equal to 1 double crochet into the very first double crochet. So the very first double crochet, after that a double crochet V stitch from our previous round. So 1 double crochet, and then you're going to work another double crochet into the next double crochet. Then you'll work a half double crochet, then a single crochet, and a single crochet into that space before our next double crochet. Then a single crochet into the next double crochet, a half double crochet to the next double crochet, a double crochet into the next 2 double crochets. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now work, you can just keep your chain in front of the double crochet V stitch from the previous round, but then we are going to just pull this to the front like that. But in the meantime, you can just work in the front. It'll make things a lot easier. Okay, so remember your first double crochet, don't skip that one, otherwise you'll have 1 stitch too few or 1 stitch less. So 2 double crochets, 1 half double crochet, 1 single crochet, a single crochet over the next space, and then a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and repeat. Okay, and then you're just going to carry on the sequence of stitches exactly as we have been doing. Okay, so now this morning I've still been thinking of names for this mandala and I haven't really come up. I was thinking rustica, but then I thought no, not quite. So at this point, obviously you know what this is called because it's on the pattern file, but at this point in making the videos, I haven't yet come up with a name that just jumps out at me. All right, so there you go. So it's going to look like that. All right, so you're just going to carry on like that, and then when you get to the end, you'll just slip stitch into your second double crochet, or you can do an invisible join, and I shall see you at round number 14. So I'll just do a quick stitch count. So we should have 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24. We should have 24 single crochets. We should have 32 double crochets. Yes. And we should have 16 half double crochets. And we should have 8 chain 3s. I'm just doing that in my head. Okay, math is not my strong suit, but anyway. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 14. Okay, so we are on to round number 14, and the color that we're using is tomato. For some reason, I keep on thinking that I might not have mentioned that when we were doing this round. So what we're going to do now in round number 14, we are going to be pulling our double crochet V from round number 12. We are going to pull that to the front like that. Okay, like so. Right, and now you're going to take your hook, you're just going to hook this, chain 2 to the front so that it's now in front of your chain space from round number 11. All right, now we are going to be working with our tomato, as I said. No, I didn't say. I keep on thinking that I hadn't said this color when we were down here, but I did. Now you're going to work into your chain 2 space, and you're going to be making, I'm going to start with this standing single crochet, and then we're going to work yarn over times 3 puffs. We're going to work 3 of those with a chain 1 in between. So we have our first one, 1, 2, 3. So, you know, I like to do these little puffs. Me and my little puffs. All right, so maybe I should do that again. Okay, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 and 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're just going to snip off. So these are our sets of 3 puffs, are an independent round as well. Woohoo! You just love me at the moment, don't you? You're just thinking, oh no, all those tails, come on Jen. Oh well, they work in pretty quickly, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, so again, we're just going to pull our V-stitch to the front. We're going to go under our chains from round number 11, and then we're just going to work our puffs as before. 1, 2, 3. So, oopsie, and then again, and 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to do this again with you. Just one more, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pull through. Right, so you know these are quite easy to work because you've got quite a lot of sort of meaty bits to work in your tails, okay? But you can also leave it, and then you know with the subsequent rounds you can work your tails in there. All right, so now you should have 3 times 8 puffs, so that's 8, 16, 24. 24 puffs and 16 chain 1s. All right, so that is round number 14, and I shall see you at round number 15. So we are on to round number 15. Round number 15, I'm going to be using the olive green. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find that little single crochet that we worked into our chain 2 space in round number 6. Okay, so that was round number 12, I think. We worked that round number 12, and we worked into that chain 2 space from round number 6. Now we're going to begin with a single crochet front post right here. Like that. Right, and then you can just move your little tail to the back. Okay, so it's out of the way. Now you've worked your single crochet front post, you're going to chain 2, yarn over. Now you're going to flip your work over, and you're going to be working into those chain spaces from round number 12, and we're going to work 4 double crochets. 3, 4. So I think you can see exactly where I'm going with this, right? Then we're going to be working into our previous round, round number 14. We're going to work into that chain 1 space, and we're going to make 3 single crochets, skip. So we're basically into the 2 chain 1 spaces, we're going to make 3 single crochets. Okay, then you're going to yarn over and into our next chain space from round number 12, we're going to work 4 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 2. We're going to work a single crochet front post around that single crochet from round number 12, chain 2, yarn over, and we're back to working our 4 double crochets into the next chain space from round number 12. Then we're going to be working single crochets, 3 of them, as we did before, between our puffs, so into those chain 1 spaces. 3, yarn over. I'm just doing this again with you, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, single crochet front post. Okay, you're just going to carry on like that. So what that will do is that. Okay, so you're going to carry on like that. So you should have, again, 64 double crochets. You'll have 16 chain 2s. You'll have 8 single crochet front posts, and you'll have 6 times 8. What is 6 times 8? 48. 6, oh, of course, 6 8s are 48. Single crochets. Okay, and then when you've finished, you just make your last 2 chains, pull your hook out of your loop, and then just work the tail through the beginning stitch and fasten off, and work in your ends. Okay, so that is round number 15, and I shall see you at round number 16. Okie dokie, so the magic of video. I kind of jumped ahead, and alright, so what I want to say at this point is that the next few rounds are the bonus rounds, and those are the rounds where we're going to create a bit of a background, and I thought that might be nice to add for a different effect, but it's completely optional. So this is basically your finished piece. So we finished on round number 15. Then you're going to make chains, and you can make them as tight as you want. So you can make them, I don't want to stretch this, don't want to stretch this too much. My chains are 15 chains, all right, and then I've just worked into that space above our center puff, right? So, and then just simply attach them, you know, just made a knot and attach them. But you can make your chains a little bit less, so you can make them maybe 10 chains or 12. You need to just figure out for yourself, you know, how I just felt that 15 chains was the right amount of chains. Okay, and then of course we're going to attach the flowers. So the flowers, the video tutorial, I'll drop the video tutorial in. And then okay, so obviously we're going to make eight flowers, and the flowers are very, very easy. I mean, I will show you in the video, but basically these little petals that we made over here, we are working them into 8 excuse me, 8 half double crochets. All right, then I added my little bit of bling, but again that's optional. I have 2 of these, and I just attached it into the screw for the embroidery hoop, like that. Okay, so, and I actually used a little claw, a lobster claw, from one of my stitch markers. So, and then I've so you can hot glue gun these flowers on, which is recommended because that makes them nice, and they're not going to come off. I just used an ordinary, I'll show you. Okay, I just used my clear glue, multi-purpose adhesive. So I just glued them on with that. So this is really a fun crafty project because you're doing crochet, you're recycling. If I mean, you can obviously go and buy your embroidery hoops, but I had a pack of these. I've had them for ages, and then also you get to do some gluing. Right, and adding some, you know, bling. This is my other one. I think it's so pretty. I was wondering what to do with them. So I don't wear jewelry. So this is, you know, part of some necklaces that I had. So this was a good use for them. Okay, so that is pretty much the end of the project. And then the next videos are just going to be some additional rounds if you want a filler. And then that's it. That is the end of our Botanica wall hanging, our embroidery loop wall hanging. And I shall see you at mandala number 3. So we have another 4 more because I have 6 hoops, as I mentioned. And I'm thoroughly enjoying making these projects, and these are just perfect for little Christmas presents or birthday presents. And of course you can use any color that you like, so you can match them even to a baby's room or whatever you like. It's just, they look really pretty up on the wall. Okie dokie, so thanks for joining me again on a fun project, and I shall see you soon in Crochet Land. So we are on to round number 16. Round number 16, the colour I'm using is gold. So now you can see what I've been doing. Give you a little preview there. Okay, so let's pretend that we are starting from the beginning. Okay, so now we're going to find our second single crochet of the 3 single crochets that we made in round number 13, right? So remember we had the 2 double crochets, half double crochet, single crochet into the space, and then a single crochet. So it's that single crochet, this sort of the second or central single crochet. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to work 2 double crochets together into that space. So you can start with standing double crochet or chain 3, then we're going to close and chain 2. Then we're going to work another one into that same single crochet, but a double crochet, right? Not a treble. 1, 2, Then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over and back into our single crochet space, 2 double crochets together, chain 2, 2 double crochets together. Now you can chain 1 if you're using quite a stiff yarn, right? Because you need to reach over to the chain 3 from that same round, round number 13. So I'm going to just rely on the stretch of acrylic, but you can work a chain 1 here, or even a chain 2 if you need to, if it's really too tight. And we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet. So in the pattern I just call it a double crochet V, but it has a chain 2 between the double crochet. All right, I keep on wanting to do a treble and then back into that single crochet. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, the closing chain of your double crochets together doesn't count as a stitch. Then, okay, so I'm just repeating this. So that's the closing chain, chain 2, and a double crochet, 2 double crochet together. Again, chain 1 if you feel you need to, and double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, so as I said, the color that I'm using is gold, and it's going to look like that. Right, so easy peasy round. And you should have 32 2 double crochets together and 16 chain 2s, 8 chain 6s, and then 8 2 double crochet V's over there with the chain 2 in between, but I'm not going to mention that. It's just a double crochet V, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, so I shall see you at the end of round number 16 and the beginning of round number 17. Okay, and to close our round, we're just going to slip stitch into the top of our beginning. You can actually go in there, but I'm going to be super lazy and just slip stitch around. Just going to slip stitch around the top of that first double crochet, 2 double crochets together. There we go. All right. So at least the light is a bit better today. We've got clear skies so far, although I do see a little cloud. All right. So there you go. Round number 16 done and dusted, and I shall see you at round number 17. Okay, so we are on to round number 17, and round number 17 I am carrying on, continuing with the gold color, and also I'm just using a white background because the color of my table is very close to this gold color. Okay, so we're going to begin in our first chain 2 space from our previous round, and we're going to work 2 double crochets together. Okay, so chain 1 to close. We're going to attach that into the chain 2 space between our 2 double crochet V to the right. Okay, right, so just attach it with a single crochet, chain 2. Now we're going to work another 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close, chain 2, and again 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close. Into our chain 6, we'll work a double crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, double crochet back into our chain 6, yarn over into our next chain 2 space. We're working 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close, chain 1, and again chain 1 to close, chain 2, and again 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close, and we're going to single crochet into our next chain 2 space, yarn over, and I'm just going to work over that little tail. It's peeking out there. And again, and again. Okay, chain 1 to close, yarn over, double crochet into our chain 6, chain 4, yarn over, double crochet into the chain 6, yarn over, and we're going to repeat our 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close, chain 2, 2 double crochets together, chain 1 to close, chain 2, 2 double crochets together, right, chain 1, and single crochet into the chain 2 space. There we go. Right, so right, so that's how your work's going to look. So you're just going to carry on like that all the way around. When you get to the end, you'll just make your last 2 double crochets together with a chain 1 to close, and then remove your hook and work your tail into the bottom of your beginning single crochet, and then fasten off. Okay, so that is round number 17, and round number 17 is in fact our final round. So well, sort of the final round, at least for this part. And then round number 18, I'm just going to show you how to attach your mandala, and then just to finish it off. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 18. I'll just show that again. Okay, so see you there. Okay, so we are on to, should I say, round number 18. So what we're going to be doing is attaching. So I'm not doing a super duper neat job because the frame, if I can, oh there it is, hiding under balls of yarn, because the frame is actually going to fit on top like that, the frame of the frame, the outer frame, and so it will hide the knot, so to speak. All right, so we are not quite finished, but we're almost finished. So you're going to be connecting your chain 4 to your inner hoop. I'm taking for granted that you're using an embroidery hoop, you know, like me. But if not, and you want to and you're just using one hoop, then you may want to attach and then also work your yarn around the hoop itself, especially if your hoop is round. So my hoop is round, but it's, you know, flat like that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a little bit of a trick that I have been doing while to help the yarn. I'll show you in a moment. So what I've done is, so you can pull your yarn to the edge of your work table and then just put a book, a heavy book, for example, the complete book of crochet stitches, 500 classic and original patterns by Linda P. Schapper, which so far I have not used once, but I just like to have crochet books. But it's a nice heavy book. So what you do is you just put that like that, right? And then you just keep a piece of your hoop over the edge of your table. And now you can actually sit down in comfort. Right, so I'm just going to cut. Of course, the moment I sit down, I'm looking for my yarn scissors, which have mysteriously disappeared. Never mind. Okay, so the heavy book means that your work is not going to flop around, right? Gosh, now I'm all fingers and thumbs. I'm sort of looking around for my scissors, which have mysteriously disappeared. All right, so the way I've done it is just use my hook like that, and then just hook the yarn over, right? And this way you can actually work. Can you see what I'm doing? This way you can actually work with both hands, and so you can really make your connection nice and tight. Okay, well, now I have to fasten off, but I don't have my scissors handy, so I'm making a little bit of a mess here, right? So can you see what I'm doing? Maybe not. Like that. Okay, just do a double knot and then pretend this is my scissors, snip off and move on to the next one. So then you just move your hoop around and oops, put your nice heavy book on the hoop, and then there you go, and you just work around like that. And that means that your hoop isn't flopping all over the place and your work isn't flopping all over the place, and it makes for a quick job. Right, so I shall see you when you have attached all of your chain fours to your hoop. Okay, so see you there. Okay, so we are on to our final round. And our final round, we're going to work these little flowers. So you kind of get better at them as you go along. So, and then of course we're going to attach them to our ring. And if the flowers are optional, you might not want to do the flowers, but this mandala is called Botanica So I wanted to make it very florally, as if that's anything new with the way that I design, right? So to make our little flower, we're going to make a magic ring, and then we're going to do a chain 2, which is equal to 1 half double crochet, and then we're going to make another 7 half double crochets. So it's 8 half double crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 half double crochets into a magic loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. And oh goodness, I'm still looking for my strangest thing. Oh goodness me, here it is. Right, just fasten off. Okay, pull your loop closed, and then you're just going to, so you can close this any way that you like. You can slip stitch into your second half double crochet, or you can work a invisible join. Okay, completely up to you. Right. And then work in all your ends. But now I just want to give you a little word of advice. Don't cut off your tails, because you can use, especially if you have left yourself a nice long tail, you can actually use your tail to attach your flower. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to see you there. Slip stitch back into the same stitch, and we slip stitch into our next stitch. So let me just do that again. So my phone ran out of memory and I have actually got another memory card with lots of space, but I haven't yet figured out how I switch from my phone memory to my extra memory. Okay, and then so we've worked a slip stitch back into the same stitch, and then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 3, and we're going to do exactly what we did before. 2 double crochets together, chain 3, slip stitch back into the space, 1, 2, 3. Even though you're working into the stitch, you can see it kind of creates this a space. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch back, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So you can see, you know, we're fitting in a lot of stitches here, but what you get is that nice sort of slightly overlapping dense petals, okay, like here. So as I was saying, you can work your own kind of flowers, whatever you prefer, but I liked this very sort of dense petally sort of multi sort of petal effect. It looks almost like a double daisy. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that. So into each of your half double crochets, so you have 8 half double crochets, you're going to work a chain 3, 2 double crochets together, chain 3, slip stitch back into the same stitch, chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch back into the same stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, and off you go. But like I say, if you find it a bit too awkward, then any kind of flower that you like, you can do. So that is basically the end of our Botanica. So I'm going to see you at the end of our flower making so that you can see everything together.